Good evening, good night, whatever stage of the day it is. My name is Rebecca Collins. I'm going to play a few songs for you tonight from a new album that I just released called Earth. And this song is the title track. I feel something
So I grew up on the coast, the Irish coast, southern coast, sunny southeast. And I feel the main thing that I kind of got from growing up in a small town on the coast is this kind of, I think the way nature becomes part of it's kind of a part of the architecture of your mind. When you grow up like that beside the sea and the woods and everything, and of course if you grow up in a small town you kind of want to get out of it as soon as possible as well, but when you're a teenager, but kind of, and I've travelled a lot since I left home, but I've very much kind of gotten back to the idea of like, it's not even an idea, it's just the feeling and the realisation that I need, that all of these forces of nature are a huge part of who I am and what music means to me as well, actually. And this album, Earth, was kind of, I realised that I wanted to gather all the songs that I had written with that kind of energy flowing through me. Like, I wrote most of the songs actually in my hometown in Tramore, just being at home, visiting my parents or in the garden or whatever. And I realised after a couple of years I had this kind of body of songs that kind of spoke to that feeling of being in touch with nature. And I don't think it's that obvious in the songs necessarily, but for me playing them and for me to play them, it's kind of bringing me back to that feeling of having to be connected to earth, to wildness. spent many hours in this woods when I was a kid. There's a tree over there especially I used to just climb and sit in it or hang out of it, swing out of it. Seemed like as good a way to pass the time as anything else. And but there was something about it. I mean, you can hear the water, and it runs down to the sea just around the corner. There's a cove, and I don't know. It's just it was kind of my sanctuary, I guess. I think all kids need some sort of sanctuary or a place where they can go and I don't know, figure themselves out or whatever. And this is what it was for me.
I should probably give you the couple of reverb or the effects that I have.
Oh, give us what you
want. Guitar.
Yeah.
Most of it's pretty quiet finger picking.
Okay.
Most of it.
So long as you know, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I took a bit of low end off it last night for the place I played, but maybe does it need it back? Maybe. Yeah, the reverb, yeah.
Everybody back into it, do you?
Yeah.
We'll take it, I guarantee that.
Yeah, okay. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Okay, everyone's here. My name's Rebecca Collins, and it's very nice to be here this evening, playing in the bars for the first official time. I don't need to hold your hand. I don't need to be your girl. I don't need that circumstance. Just let me in your world. I don't mind the mystery of who you really are to me. Other men make me feel fine, long as you're a friend of mine. If I already feel for you, without ever touching you, I know I can love you without ever getting to. Well, I think I know right from wrong, but thinking isn't worth a song. I let my heart go where it goes, but my body doesn't follow. But my body doesn't follow. If I already feel for you, without ever touching
whenever things got, as they often did, got too intense psychologically, or like, you know, just this whole city thing, everything piling in on you. This is I think you're lucky if you grew up in a place like this, because you have something you can recall, as a sort of a balm for your psyche when you're super stressed and like overdosing on urban life. So I could like mentally project myself back here, even if I couldn't actually come back at the time. When I started writing as a teenager, I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I remember one summer I was really deep into songwriting, and for the first time getting very deeply into it. And I remember I was keeping a diary at the time, and I remember writing, you know, one of my goals is to get much better at my song forms, or something totally like, you know, kind of hardcore. But now I've just kind of, it's just kind of my way of life now, you know. So it ebbs and flows, and I kind of know that now. And I've never put that pressure on myself. I've just kind of worked at it steadily and consistently, and knowing that there'll be good days and bad days, and good songs and bad songs.
My heart is a lake, my heart is a lake, frozen from the day it died. From the day it died. I see you clearly, standing in the doorway, in the slant of the evening light. Wrap your arms around me tight. Dance me round on the kitchen floor till we can't see anymore, and the children are laughing at the joy that you bring. Oh,
Production, and then every changes in New York.
What's involved in a tour like this? Booking the tour. I booked this tour myself, so that involves a lot of emails and a lot of phone calls, following things up and confirming things, and making agreements, all the kind of nuts and bolts of it. It's very practical, all of that side of things, but it has to be, you need to be pretty organised. And then the fun part is doing it, just getting on a plane or getting in a car and with your guitar and just going and singing for people. It's the best thing, really. I feel like you always meet lovely, lovely people on tour. The musicians I've played with, that I've shared the stage with, or people running the venues, or the people you stay with, and it's just something about music, I think, and that world or the arts world just attracts really good people. And especially on this tour, I've been quite it warms my heart when I think about the people I've met on at these gigs, the other musicians that have played, and just everyone's, people. Sometimes if you're at home and you're working on stuff, you feel like you're the only person in the world. Like, it feels quite lonely when you're doing all those emails and everything. But then you go out and you meet other people who are doing the same thing in their part of the world, and you realise that this is real, and there are a lot of people tapping into that source. There's a lot of people out there running on the same thing that you're running on, the same fuel, and that's a really nice feeling. And I always feel really energized and really inspired when I meet people who are doing the same kind of thing as me. So I feel quite lucky.